Welcome to Speed in Color, a podcast and YouTube channel about custom motorcycle culture. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to get all the latest content. You can also follow Speed in Color on Instagram. We hope you enjoy the show.
Kirt, how are you, brother?
Brother,
Man, it's been too long.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. How you
Good
been?
to see ya. I've been awesome.
Yeah,
And you?
I've been good. Good to see
I've
you.
been following your social media, and it looks like you had a heck of a summer. So we
Man,
got some stuff to talk about.
I did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Before we do that,
Yep.
though, a styling guy like you really needs a
Come
Speed
on
in Color
now.
hat.
Well,
right?
I'm gonna wear this
Flex fit. So there you go, brother. That's your new
Speed
hat.
in Color. You guys know. Oh my God.
Right
Oh,
on.
look. Oh, you looks good.
You look good.
Oh my God. Let me take a look. Oh. Come
Now-
on now. This is my color too. I'm gonna put this down. This is my color.
For me, I would take the label off.
Thank you,
but that's
brother.
'cause I'm
No,
an old guy.
I'm taking
The
it
young
off,
guys,
but I was
young
like,
guys like you always
no,
leave the label
I ain't
on.
no young guy. I love this color. Damn, brother, this is nice. I appreciate that. This is really
no
nice.
worries.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for having me over.
I know it's always a pleasure having you here, and I know you're super busy, so I thank you. I appreciate that.
We're
Thank
both
you.
busy. It's
Yes,
good.
sir.
Life is good. isn't
Yes, it is. It sure is.
So for all of you watching, back here today with Kirt at Dirty Kustomz. We did a show, 6, 7, 8
Shoot.
months ago, something like
Is
that.
it that long?
Do you know I'm coming up on 1 year? The last episode I put up was number 23, and 26 will be a full year. So
Wow.
yeah, just 2 more and the season wrap up, and
Time flies when you're having
that's the first
fun.
year of this done. Yeah.
Time flies when you're having
Yeah.
fun. So is it been that long? 8 months since you were here last?
Man,
Is it about that?
there was snow outside.
Oh shoot, yeah, you're right too.
Remember, young Harrison
Yeah.
was
Right.
here, and yeah.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
It's been a day, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, shit, we back at it again.
We are.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come by today. I want to catch up on the summer a bit.
Right.
But I also want to check out the bike that we touched on way back then.
Right.
And now we have a finished, we have a completed project.
Yeah, there
They're
you
never
go.
finished.
I like that.
right? They're
Exactly.
never finished.
That's right. It's never finished. There's always something to do.
So I see you've been all over the place. You were
Yep.
at the dam show.
That's right.
Now you did have to work for a while, so
Yeah.
you were
I was
laying
gone for a
low
bit, laying low for a
yeah.
bit. I was gone for a bit. Got back.
So what all did you do this summer? What shows did you hit?
Oh man, what you know, the bike, it was kind of when I got back from work, I was kind of like, man, should I do the stages show? And I had probably about 10 days from the time I landed to get to the show. So I had bits and pieces of the bike all chromed up and stuff. I had no intentions of finishing the bike.
Right.
So that's when I started kind of like, oh man, I'm gonna go down to Sturgis. Let's see if I can do this build.
Right.
So I started the build, and which is up there on my Instagram. It was basically a 5-day build.
Yeah,
Listen,
you really hustled.
I did.
Yeah.
You know, I did. I was in here. You know, my kids and their family came in. You know, they helped me out here. I was in here. Honestly, I went. It was close to like 32, 36 hours with no sleep. Not a word of a lie. We were just going.
Well, you don't like sleep a
I
whole
don't
bunch
like
anyway.
You know that. You know that about me. Sleep, we'll sleep when we're dead, man. It's just like, you know. But it's just, yeah, man, it's been a good summer. Really good summer.
Good.
No
And the
complaint.
dam show, I saw that you did a lot of coverage on that.
Yeah.
How was that? That one seems pretty special. Pretty
you
good
know,
for you.
the dam show out in Detroit, my buddy Randy, you know, Randy puts on that show, aka Mr. Detroit himself, and he captures the essence of the old bikes, you know, and his show is very unique, very different. It's all about getting everyone together. It's not about the builders and whatever. It's about everybody coming together as a family. That's why it's called the Dam Family. And it's that show. I've been to a lot of shows. and it's just really unique what he does for the bike scene, what he does for the people is very different. That's why it's so special to me. It's
Okay.
And you know, I try to go down
Now,
every
have
year.
you been to that one before?
Yes, I've been to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I took Smokey down there, and he had invited me as a builder. We met up in Sturgis, and he invited me down there when we were out there. So I took this bike, 2000, the 5th anniversary. So these are one of the rings
Okay.
that they give out.
Show that to the camera.
So these are one of the rings. This is for the 5th anniversary, and this is for the 6th.
All right, on.
So, and again,
So who gets the rings? What's the deal?
in invited builders who gets out there, the ring, you know, it's he does it all just on sponsor. He does all the stuff on his own, and any invited builders that are, who's over there, they get a ring that shows up, bring their bikes in there,
Oh,
and
that's super
it
cool.
is. But it's an interaction with everyone. That's what makes
Right.
it so unique.
And you had Purple Rain there.
I had Purple Rain there.
Okay.
Yes, this year I had Purple Rain there. So again, it was great. Got out there and you know saw a lot of the people from last year and stuff like that, and people from all over. So it's really good. It's a nice show. It's something you should come out one year.
I want to.
Yeah, you should come out one year with me, and you know, it's a nice platform out there to see everything different. It's such a, and I keep saying it's such a different show, and
Right.
you will love it. You will really love it.
I want to do a couple shows with you.
Anytime.
Well, and you know I'm getting close to pulling the pin and
Yep.
retiring, so
Yep.
that's going to make a heck of a difference.
Yeah.
You know, when you're working on 3 or 4 weeks vacation, it's just so hard to fit stuff in.
Right.
I went to the Bad Living Road show
Right,
this year,
yeah.
and I'd love to get you to that show.
Okay.
And maybe your buddies in Detroit too,
Okay,
because
okay.
it's not very far across
From the border. Yeah.
What a great deal. Huge campground. Couldn't believe the number of bikes, the number of guys
Right
camping out. Old school choppers. You know, you and I get starved in Calgary.
Yeah.
because I love living in Calgary.
I do too.
You and I'd be hard pressed to get 20 choppers together for a ride.
That is so true.
I go down there and it's like a sea of old
It's
school
everywhere.
choppers.
Yeah.
And we were treated really, really
Right
well.
on.
It was great.
Well, I gotta
But
check it
I
out.
trailered the bike down.
Yeah, you
So 3 days down there.
Okay.
4 days at the show.
Right.
And then 3 days back.
Okay.
Well, that's the better part of 2
Yeah.
weeks of my vacation.
Yeah,
gone
definitely.
For one show. And,
Yeah.
and I loved it. It was totally worth it.
Right.
Definitely we're going back next
Right
year.
on.
But you know,
Okay,
when
if-
your time is limited.
Yeah. I hear you. I've been blessed and fortunate to, do a lot of these shows and, been invited to shows and stuff like that. So it's been a really good thing. And
Oh, you have a charmed life, buddy.
Yeah, I do. I sure do. I really do.
You really
I really do. I do. You're right. I'm not going to deny that.
I got to tell you, there's way too many angry, unhappy people in the world right now. Right?
Yeah.
You know, life is good. We have
really
it.
good.
We have it so good, and you're coming up to an election.
Yep,
down in
yep,
the
yep,
south there
yep.
soon, and angry politicians who just want to tell us how broken and bad things are. I got no time for it. I
Right.
want to hear how good things are,
That's
not
it.
how broken they are.
That's it. Nah, you right about that, brother. Like I said, I which we always talk about stuff. It's like, life is good. You just gotta really enjoy it as much as you can.
Absolutely.
As much as you can.
Absolutely.
And you know what we do, we love what we do, man. So
Yeah.
it's really it's good.
So the damn show was good.
Yes,
and,
sir.
And now where are you headed?
Well, it's kind of for the last minute. I got back and I was like, all right, I did a few shows, bike and whatever. And I was like, so last night, not before, kind of like talking to my son and we were kind of shooting. I was like, he's like, Dad, why don't you just head down back to Texas? I was like, yeah, man, I ain't doing nothing. He's like, so I came home last night and I was like, I'm thinking twice of going out to Texas, did a couple of the shows, da. He's like, nah, you going. So he got online and he booked everything for me. He's like, you are leaving. So so now I'm heading on to the Born Free out in Texas.
Okay.
So I'm heading on there probably on Tuesday, Wednesday, and go down there, call up some of my buddies, meet up.
So you driving down?
Yeah, I'm gonna drive down, load it up.
This in the back of the
Yeah,
truck?
I'm gonna load up Purple out there and get down there. She's dialed in now. Couple things I gotta change and kind of fixed up before I go down, because I was really gonna strip this bike down again.
Right.
And redo everything.
So before we talk about this, I gotta know, are you gonna be able to vote while you're down there?
Yeah, but you know, I'm like you know, politics, I stay away from that. And it doesn't matter who votes in there, they all do the same thing. They all do. I always say politicians, they're the one people that get paid to lie to the public.
Yes.
Whether it's right, left, and like I said, I don't get into that, but yeah, no, I can vote once I get down there, but it's like, yeah, I just leave that alone, man, because it don't matter. Even right here in Canada, you know, not to talk about that, but it's crazy. They do what they want.
Oh, we've got a guy here in Canada, and trust me, I don't think that the guy who's in is doing everything right or anything like that, but we got this other guy who can't stop telling us how screwed up everything is. Man, you know what? When he says this country is broken, my dad didn't fly as a tail gunner in World War II to defend this country for some, some guy who's a lifetime politician. He's never done anything other than be a politician.
Right.
He's never had to go to war because of what those guys did and everything.
Yeah.
His wife isn't from this country, or her family isn't. Maybe she was born here. And he stands up and says the country's broken. If it's so damn broken, why don't you find somewhere else to go?
Right. I hear you, brother.
You know, don't tell me that it's a broken country that my dad fought for. You'll get into a parking lot hassle with me over that. So, anyway, that's all stuff that we can forget about for now. So I wanted to ask you about Born Free. We made it to Born Free, California. And we didn't take a bike down. But we flew down. This deal that Karen has through work, flying's pretty cheap. We can do a few things. So we flew down, and I did an interview with the Ives brothers and the Wall of Death.
They're going to be down there too.
And they're going to be, so stop by. If you take that hat, go see the Ives brothers and tell Kyle and Cody that Bruce said hi. And you know, I'll tell you, and I'll tell everybody else, I went down and I recorded that episode, and I've been really struggling with how to put it together. Because there is a ton of Canadian history in their Wall of Death. And I want to do the story justice. It meant a lot to me, and you'll see in something that I recorded on site there, I think you'll get an idea of just how much it means to me. So I want to do it justice. And I've been struggling with how to put it together, but I think I finally got it figured out. I think it's going to be episode number 25. So it'll come out after you, and before Patrick and I do the season wrap. But yeah, the Wall of Death, the Canadian ties are unbelievable, and those guys are so good, and you know, they're such down to earth guys. And again, in a world where everybody can find an excuse, I can't find a job, I can't do this, I can't use my education, blah, blah, blah. There's a couple of guys who load up motorcycles and a whole bunch of wood and jump in a truck and go put on a show. And they're probably doing better than most of us are,
But on top of that, they're enjoying what they're doing. They're loving it, you know. And that's what's so beautiful about all that, what you're saying. You know, you talk about people, I can't find a job, I don't know, blah, blah. And then you got the flip side of everything. And then you got, as you said, people like that, and they're enjoying it.
It was so cool to see their mother there taking care of the grandbabies while the guys are doing what they have to do. And she's having a great time, and she loves being there. And It's amazing. Such a rich story.
That's amazing.
I'm an amateur, and I really don't want to screw it up.
Right.
I want to do it justice. But yeah. So that one's coming up. But if you see those guys, say hi.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Too bad you weren't coming down. And that's too bad you weren't coming down.
Well, I'll give you a little tidbit. I don't want to give too much away, but if you go watch their show, the go-kart who starts the show? Cody, I think, starts the show. In the go-kart, I saw that go-kart in Ottawa on the Wall of Death over 50 years ago.
No way.
It is the same go-kart. Yeah. Now they've had to change motors and stuff, right. But it's the same chassis.
No way.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So that's just a little part of the whole story.
Okay. So, well, definitely I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, no, it's going to be a blast, yeah.
And are you going to go down to Lone Star while you're there?
Again, you know what, Bruce, I just kind of I play everything by ear. I'm kind of, which I'm spontaneous. I'm here, there, whatever. So,
but it's an option because there's only what 2-3 weeks between them.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. If I decide to just stay out there and hang out and stuff, visit my sister and all that stuff. So depends on work and everything else. So I'm just kind of playing everything by ear. Get down there, have fun, and just enjoy, just ride while I'm not there.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool. Do you want to plug your social media? Do you do Facebook?
I don't really do Facebook too much. Well, my Instagram, and my TikTok and stuff. I don't really do a lot of the Facebook stuff.
And I'll put the Instagram along the bottom of the screen here.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, Dirty Kustomz and follow along.
Yes, sir.
Some good stuff there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. Like I said, I'm looking forward to a lot of footage and stuff. And like I said, I already talked to a couple of my boys down there. I was like, hey, I'm coming down. They're like, okay, yeah, we're waiting for you. So it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast.
Well, why don't we, you know what? I think we're pretty much caught up.
Okay.
Did you have anything else? No? We're all good? Why don't we talk about this? Because this bike, I'm going to grab my water here. This bike.
Yeah, let me grab a drink.
And I'm going to let you go to the front. So this bike, we actually touched on.
Right.
In the first episode, and maybe you want to come around back here. So we're going to show everybody this side of the bike first, which of course is the main side of the bike, right?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, in the first episode that we did with Kirt, this bike, it was just the frame, and it was sitting over against the wall there. And Kirt shared a couple of ideas with us, but he wasn't saying much about this build. He wanted to keep a lot of it under wraps. And man, all of a sudden, it just took off. And I was shocked at how it went together. Like I say, it came together pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
So why don't we start? Let's start. We're going to touch on the frame and everything as we go.
Right.
But let's start right at the front wheel and start working our way back on, things that are special about this bike, features, things you want us to know about and how you did them.
Right. Well, let's start with the wheels, the front wheel, and the wheels. These wheels, these are satellite wheels. They're super rare. And going back, I think it was last year or year before. I think it was 2 years ago. Can't remember the timeline. Went out to Fort Worth. I tried to go to the Fort Worth swap meet. It's one of the best swap meets for me. One of the best ones in Texas, Fort Worth.
So, I was just going to say, I just remembered all the Instagram you did from that swap meet.
Right.
I was sitting here in Calgary thinking,
So for me, and I know a lot of the guys out there and all them guys. So, with these wheels, when I saw it, I was like, God, man, these are satellite. So I walked around, kind of, shoot the shit with the guy, and I was like, well, man, how much you want for these wheels? He threw out a number. I said, man, that's a lot of money. I said, I can't do it. I'll talk to you, whatever. So it's a little bit rusted and dented up. walked back again a few times, you know, we chatted. So it was coming like to the end of the day, the wheels are still there. And I threw out a number at the guy and I said, look, you know, it needs some work and everything else. And man, when he took that number out, threw out, I was like, it was one of those moments, start the truck, let's go. Because I was like, these are satellites. I was like, these are, and so when I got the wheels, that's when, you know, I had the frame, which you knew, but everything started falling into place. And that's, you know, that's how the build goes with me sometimes, just the wheel, the gas tank, or something like that.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to do. And, you know, I wanted the wheels, if you look at the wheels on the front to the back, I wanted to keep everything on the left side of the bike. So there's no rotors on the right bank, there's no rotors on the back. So that's why I wanted to, when the bike is leaning, is get that clean look on the side.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do, right, with the wheels.
No, and it worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
good thinking to be planning ahead on that like that. Yeah.
So, you know, just wanted something a little bit different.
So you bought both wheels at the same time?
Yes. Yep. The match set from the guy, and you know, it was, again, I was really lucky to find these damn things, because I got lots of wheels in the back, some of my goodies, but to find these was like, it was hitting the jackpot for me, these ones. Yeah. And then, well, the Springer front end, most of my bike is Springer front ends.
Yep.
I like them.
Now, I don't want to say anything negative here or anything, but this isn't the front end that you had originally planned to have.
No, exactly. And it wasn't. And the original front end, I had a different front end. And while it was on the bike, it wasn't, it really, you know.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it wasn't talking to me.
Okay.
I was like, no, this is not the look. I don't like it.
Oh, because I wondered if maybe it didn't come through or something.
No. The other Springer front end that I'm waiting on, which we talked about, that's for the Sugar Bear. You know?
Okay.
So that's for the.
So the Sugar Bear one is still coming.
Yes, it's still coming. Hopefully, the end of the year. I'm hoping, right? So that's gonna go on another bill, which that's like bill number 4 or 5, something like that.
Right. Okay.
So we did have another front end. I don't know when you were here, if you remember, when you guys were here, there was a different one on there, and I was gonna run that. And for me, it was a bit too short. Didn't like the setup on the bike, and that's why I went with this front end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I went with this front end, and then
And this one, did you pick it up at the swap meet, or was it hanging around?
This one, this is from DNA. This one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a DNA front end, and again, I wanted something a little bit different from the conventional Harley-Davidson front end, like on Smokey here, and kind of going back into the real traditional 60s, 70s, that front end. So that's where that, when I saw it, I was like, okay, that's the one I want. That's the look I'm going for.
Right. Cool. And you do run a front brake?
I do run front brake. I like front brakes. I ran bikes before without front brakes. And again, to each his own. I like my front brakes now. I do. You know, if I'm up on a hill or do whatever, because, you know, all my bikes are suicide shift or jockey shift. Yep. So I like that little bit of comfort for me. You know, and I run the front brakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So working our way back, I guess we kind of, well, tell me about these handlebars, because you were saying that they took a little getting used to. Yeah,
you know, a lot of times, you know, I'll do some ape hangers and everything else, and the bill started to fall in place. And again, traditional 60s, 70s. And a lot of the old choppers, if you look at the old choppers from back in the day, they got a lot of pullback, bunny ears, all that stuff. There's a lot of short pullbacks.
Right.
And then I was like, let me do something a little bit different. And so these are original Harley-Davidson bars, whatever. So what I did, I chopped it, and I narrowed them, and I brought them in, tacked it in place, sat on the bike. I was like, okay, this is the look. Step back. Okay, I like the way it's looking now. And all my twisted features and all of that started running with the twisted stuff. And you know, when I was building this and I was posting it up, I had a lot of negative comments on this. A lot of negative comments. Oh yeah. And they're like, oh man, you're gonna kill yourself. You don't know what you're doing. That's gonna break and all this stuff and yada yada. Yeah. But you know, like again, it's my vision. I've been doing it, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And that's where everything fell with this V, because if you look at this V, I took off the coffin tank. Everything flows for me when I'm doing it. Right. So that's where I was just taking bits and pieces of what I had in my head, where I wanted to build, where I'm going with it, and that's what I came up with, and that's the finished product.
Very good.
So
how did you do the twisted stuff? Where did that come from?
A lot of this twisted stuff, it's all heated and bent. It's just regular. I can do a regular rod right here, and I just heat them up and bend them. If I need anything bigger, I got a guy that does the big stuff for me. And I think like over here, I'll show you this right here. I got a guy that does the big stuff for me, and he does amazing work.
Oh man, that is big.
He does amazing work. Yeah. And if you look at the chop he does, like the small stuff I can do, all the bigger stuff.
Show that to the camera.
So when you look at it, it's like a dragon tail. And so he would do, the problem with this, like when you do it like this, is the chroming. The chrome doesn't get in all the little crevices and stuff.
Right, chrome doesn't like to go into gaps.
Exactly. Yeah. So like all the small stuff is twisted right here. Bigger stuff, then you know I get it sent
So what about the balls? These
ones here?
Balls, yeah. What do you call those?
I just call them swirls.
Swirls, balls.
Yeah.
Okay.
These a lot of these swirls were bits and pieces that I had from some leftover metal.
Okay.
Some leftover stuff. Wherever I go, if I see something that I can build, if you go to the side of the house right now, you might call it a junk pile. I call it my treasure pile.
Right.
So all the bits and pieces, if I see something weird or different, I'm picking it up. Because in my mind, I'm going to use that on something, on a build or whatever. So, and that's where I run with a lot of the stuff.
Okay. Very, I mean, they're very decorative, but the way you've used them, I think they have a hardness, they have a macho kind of thing to them, even though they're kind of decorative, right?
Exactly.
In a different application, they might be considered a little bit girly.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But they really worked here, yeah.
And again, to each his own, building their bikes and whatever. I like doing stuff a little bit different. In my building, and again, I always say I'm not a builder. I always say that humbly. I'm not. When I'm doing something with my bikes, I gotta top the next bike.
Right.
I gotta top the next bike. I gotta come up with something different.
Right.
Right. And that's where this started to just flow. Everything started to flow.
Right.
And this is what happened. And as you said, you know, if you look at this, it's like, man, what kind of girly stuff is this? But once, you know, I know once it's chromed and the way it's gonna look with the lighting and everything, I know that's gonna change everything.
Oh, under the lights, this must be fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Very good. So let's talk about the chrome for a second, because I think you had a lot of stuff done locally here, didn't you?
I did.
Calgary plating?
Calgary plating. Anthony.
Yep.
Really good guy.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. He does a lot of my chroming and stuff, and you know, a lot of times he helps me out on the deadlines, you know, and I'll be like, Anthony, I got some stuff. I'm sorry. I got to shoot out this show, you know, and
well, and he knows his stuff.
He's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, and you know, they've done the research, even though they've been doing it for a long time.
Right.
They've moved ahead with the technology and everything.
Yeah.
And you know, last time I saw him and I was talking to him, and I thought it was amazing that the process they're using now and the chemicals they're using, they can keep their tanks balanced or safe or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they need to change, they can actually flush that stuff down the city system.
Right. and it's safe.
And they're inspected regularly. Yeah. Like it is all above board and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, oh man, in a world where if you have a chroming shop, you're an old school. You're pushing the limits, right?
And but like I said, those guys, they pretty much dialed in, and like I said, good guys. I've met a lot of the guys in the background. I go in the back, and really nice guys, good workers, and they know what they're doing. Yeah. So no, Anthony's good. Yeah, those guys are good guys.
No, the stuff looks great. So shout out to Calgary Plating.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, the tank, man. Tell me about. I mean, I saw the tank before when it was raw.
Right.
And I knew you had some kind of an idea because you had done the recessed part in there.
Yeah.
And I do want to get a picture of that to put into the video. But go ahead. Tell us about the tank.
Again, most of the stuff that I picked up along the way, this tank came from Brent, a Precision Framework. This was his personal old tank. Had it sitting around, and I wanted to do the coffin tank, original old school coffin tank, and I got it from him. And so, again, I was like, okay, tanks are there, let's do something different. And that's why when I decided to cut out the shadow box on the inside, I call it a shadow box, I don't know what's the right terminology. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a 2-part resin. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. And so that's when I came up with this. And I wanted to put some of the stuff that means, stuff to me, and along the way. So if you look at the top here, I got the lighter, and on here is got your playing cards, right? Mm-hmm. And pretty much it's like in life, play the hands you've been dealt with. No complaining, no whining. What you get dealt with, you got to deal with it. You got to move on. You got to go every day. So I wanted that in there. There's an old school key in here. And that key, I think every man, or every person, every man or woman, or every person, you got the key to your success, your destiny, your journey. The key belongs to you. That's yours.
Right.
That is your key. You can use it. You can set it down or not open the doors you want to. That's on you. But I got the key for my future. And that's what I put the key. Lucky 7. Got my dice in there. I got my compass in here. And I'm never lost.
Yeah.
I'm never lost. I'm always going in the direction I want to go in.
True.
That's my direction. Yeah. That's my journey. And if you come here, I ain't got my glasses on, but you can read the script. You got your glasses?
I don't have mine either, but I can do it from here.
Right.
It's a good thing I don't have to hold it. I wouldn't be able to get it far enough away. That's very nice. Yeah.
So. And that's what the compass is about. And
does the compass still work?
Oh yeah. Look, if I move it around the bike.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then last on the bottom here, I've got my hourglass. And most hourglass, they run vertical or the other way, and it runs down. I try not to chase life too much. And I say too much. We all get in a rut sometimes, and you want to do this. So I got my hourglass, horizontal, so I keep my life balanced. Nice. Work, play, happiness, whatever, I enjoy it. Because as I said, we're just passing through this life, and you gotta, like I said, I got a lot of sayings, I'm gonna live full and die empty. I will do everything I need to. I will turn every leaf over, whatever. And like I said, you ask me what I'm doing, I might be doing this now, I might be building this bike now, I might be doing something else. And that's how I live it, because I'm just like, I'm getting an opportunity today. We're going to do it today.
Right on. Good stuff.
That's how the tank came about. And then the flakes.
The cap?
The cap. Well, again, what are we going to do? Just put a regular boring cap? Or are we going to do something different?
Yeah.
So the color scheme came up with the Purple Rain and all that stuff. And I was like, I was looking for a crown. So we got the crown. We put it on. I was like, it's looking blank. We need a little something else on top of that. We need a little jewelry on top of that.
There you go.
So that's where that came about. And, again, the flakes and the color, this was kind of, again, accidental stuff. The color that I started with was just a regular purple, just blend. And I was like, I don't like that. I started mixing up some stuff, and I still got a whole bunch of it, and I started dumping flakes.
I was watching you, and I thought, where is he going with this?
That's how I'm dumping flakes. I'm doing. I was like, man, what is? Like you said, people say, what the hell is he doing? I was like, no, I'm gonna put some flakes. This bike is 60s, 70s. They have big flakes.
Yeah.
I said, let's do it. And once I laid it down, I was like, that is the color. That is it. That's what I'm going with.
Well, and the flake is so nice. I'm hoping the cameras pick it up. But you get some silver, and you get some purple, and you get some pink, and there's so much going on in the flake.
Exactly.
And you really see it back here in the fender too, which that fender worked out fantastic. That's awesome. We'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
But yeah, in the frame and everything, you see the flake, but on those large flat spots, boy, it really
pops. And like I said, once the lighting is even more, it just really pops out there. Because once the sun hits it, it's just a different, and that's what I wanted. I wanted the paint job to give you that dimension where it's deep, but you get all this variation of different size of flake, the color of flake. And that's what they did back in the 60s and 70s. You know that, right?
They were experienced.
So
what are you saying?
So I'm just saying you out there. I came along after, and I started learning about that stuff. That was when you were doing stuff out back then.
Oh, Kurt, that was funny. Okay, and the silver
inlay here.
Yeah.
I got a buddy, I got a tanker, Eugene, he's Russian, and he's a good dude. He does a lot of this stuff for me. And this is basically, I came up with a design, the way it's laid out here. If you look at Smokey and other bikes and stuff, I came up with this design, the way I wanted the leafing and all that stuff. And then the Purple Rain, that's the design I came up with. And he does amazing work. Locally, he's a local guy. It's a hobby of his. He doesn't do it full time, so he does that for me. So Eugene, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. How about those highway pegs?
You gotta have your highway pegs.
You got it.
You got to. I mean, it's that cruising aspect. You out there, and you get guys that talk about choppers, right? And some guys would say, man, if you got a floorboard on a chopper, it's not a chopper. Because if you put some guys, you put a floorboard on there, they're like, man, that's not a chopper. Chopper has to have highway pegs. You got to have that, you can't, whatever. So I like my highway pegs. Once I'm getting on the highway, I just put my foot up, I'm cruising. I'm good. It's just something I like that. It's comfortable. Yeah. It's not just there. I can change the position from low to high. Get some movement on my leg, blood flow.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We all know how that is. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Great. And forward controls.
Yeah.
And did you build all that stuff?
This is all pre-ordered. All these are pre-ordered.
Okay.
And like I said, these are all obviously those are what I made.
Do you want to plug anybody?
No, that's just yeah. That's just pre-order stuff.
Okay. And the engine, what is this?
This is a 46 knuckle EL, and this motor came from a bike and came from my buddy Scotty Bush. He lives in Edmonton, and again, it fell in my lap. He had this bike. He had a complete bike, a chopper, and he's got some beautiful bike. Scotty, thank you. Appreciate you, brother. He's got some original knuckles and pans, and he's got some stuff that nobody has seen, like nobody. And so he had this bike kind of put together, bought it years ago, and he called me up, and we kind of talked, and I was like, man, I'm looking for a knuckle. I was like, he goes, well, I might just have one. So I'm thinking it's one of the originals. So I was like, man, I can't afford that. That's a $100,000 bike. Because it's all original. He's like, no, I got another one. It's all kind of put together. I was like, okay, send me some pics. Well, okay. Hey, Scotty, I'll be there tomorrow. I jumped in the truck and I drove out there. Not a word of a lie. I wanted to see this bike. And, well, no, let me back up. I was overseas, went back and forth, whatever. I landed here, and then he had sent me the pictures, and then I took off. And I was like, well, give me a number. And he didn't want to throw out a number. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to do this, and this is just one number, and that's it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. And I threw out a number at him, and he's like, I'll take the bike. He said, I'll sell the bike to you. And I said, okay, I'll take it. And that's where it started. I got the bike. Didn't want to do, because it was a long chopper, and I wasn't doing that. I was like, okay. So I sold the frame and sold the other stuff to another buddy of mine, Joe. And he's into the really long, super long bikes. And I sold that, and then the motor tranny I pulled off, and then I knew that was the motor for this. I knew it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Transmission?
4-speed tranny. This is a 69 transmission, 4-speed, ratchet top. I love the ratchet tops.
Yep.
They're really good.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a lot of, the ELs, they're 61 cubic inch engine. Not a lot of horsepower. They're really good. And when I got the motor, it came with an SNS. And the guys, when I got the bike, he had told me he rode the bike, wasn't really running too well. And I had a lot of trouble firing up the bike, getting it to run properly. So, that setup with the SNS and the intake manifold, they did a welding job. Whoever did it, I don't know. But what they did, the intakes was sitting like this. So what was happening? The gas was coming in and pooling, and it would flood the bike, the back cylinder, and would not fire. And I didn't know that.
Right.
I was like, because I've got SNS and everything, and that bike gave me a lot of grief until now. Till I dialed it in.
Because this is working pretty good. So really? what did you wind up doing?
So here? I spoke to a couple guys when I was out in Sturgis. So I was out in Sturgis, the bike would not run properly at all. Couldn't fire up. It ran a couple times, whatever. And man, so I was over at Sasha's place out in Sturgis. He's a good guy. Sasha Cycle, really good guy. There was another gentleman there that races. He's very famous. I don't want to call his name because he's kind of like whatever. So he's like, man, take that SNS out and put a linked carburetor in it. He's like, really? He's like, yep, you do it. I promise you. This is all I race, and I race him, and I abuse him, whatever. You would love it. So I was like, okay, let me find a Lincoln. I've never really played with these things because they're so old. Some people said they junk, throw it away. You don't need that thing, you throw that in the lake, whatever. So finally, a buddy of mine's, Big Al out in BC, Reverend Al, he's like, man, I've got a Lincoln. It's an M35. It's been sitting around. You need to rebuild the damn thing. And let's swap and trade some stuff. I said, no problem, I had some stuff. Sent the carburetor out to me, a few of them. He sent like 3 of them to me. He's like, you figure it out. So when I got this, again, didn't know anything about it, went down to ill-fated, spoke to, what's my guys down there? Oh my God, not Pete. Oh my goodness. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me, his name. I'm gonna show. So I went down there, he said, man, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, check it out. I made up some gaskets. I made gaskets up, and I put it on just to test it out, right? Because the kit for this thing is like super expensive. It's almost the price of buying a brand new Lincoln. They run like $1,000, $1,200 just for this little thing.
Right.
And I was like, okay. So I did that, brought it home, cleaned it up, checked it, built some gasket, put it on the bike. I was like, no way, come on. This has been one of the easiest kickstarting bike I've ever fired up.
Is that right?
I promise you. Yeah. I promise you, it is now because it said every one of the bikes have got the S&S.
Yeah.
So now doing some research, well, you got to think about back then, all these bikes, a lot of them came with the Linked, right? Like an M74, B24, B74s and all that stuff. So it was one of those things. I was like, you know what? Let me not try to reinvent anything, put it on. And it's been running. It's been good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And not that there's anything wrong with S&S.
No, there's nothing.
But as you said, it looked like something had been done to that one.
Right.
Yeah.
They did, you know, they did a kind of a butcher job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that stuff happens, right?
And it's just a learning curve, right, with that, because you're thinking when you look at it, you know, on a visual, like outside, everything looks good. Pull the carburetor out, check all the jets, check the jetting, everything looks fine. Put it in until when I was out in Detroit, my buddy Joe Marshall, he has a really, you know.
Yeah, Joe Marshall.
You know, right, Joe?
Yeah. Well, I know him on social media.
Right. So we were there, and I was like, Joe, whatever. So the bike broke down. When I was out in Detroit, you know, it's like, so we pulled back up. It was really hot. A few of the guys, whatever. So we pulled it up, and I was like, open it up. I said, Joe, take a look at this, the way it's sitting, right? And so we looked at it. He checked it. He's like, oh, maybe. So when we took the air cleaner out and you looked at it, you can see the gas was pooling, sitting right here, and it was not going in. So the back head, we were getting a lot of fuel. The plugs was wet. Nothing up front.
Okay.
So then that's when everything started making sense. It started making sense. Okay, this is not right. This is not right.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you found an answer.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And that's where that came from.
So from there, exhaust?
Exhaust. This is a Paco style. This section came from Italy.
Really?
Yeah. This came. It's a guy that makes these out in Italy. And, you know, I'm bad with names. I'm really bad with names, and I should be.
Very cool because the swirl suits
everything.
Yeah.
That we were going for, right?
Yeah.
Everything that we were going for, kind of like just fell into place in getting this twisted here.
And I can tell that. You had some carb issues and maybe a little bit of carbon, huh?
I had a lot, believe me. And I'm still playing with this thing, still dialing it in.
Little bit of carbon on the end of the pipe.
A little bit, just a little bit. So you know,
let me clean that up for you while I'm here.
It's quite a bit because, like I said, that thing was dumping a lot of fuel in there.
You know, I'm about to get really dirty doing this too.
So it's still, and again, you know, learning about these Linked, man, it's been, and again, you learn every day, and it's something I want to get a little more in depth with, because I think they're pretty cool carburetors. I think after playing with them now,
fuel delivery is pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, told you I was going to get dirty. Good. You've got your toolbox on there. That's a Dirty Kustomz kind of signature piece.
Yeah, it's a swap meet fine, and it's rectangular for the knuckle style. You know, a lot of the square ones came, and then you got your teardrop in different years. So, like, again, wanted to put that on there.
Yeah, very good. So tell me about the frame. How did the frame work out? Because this is, and I'm sure we'll be able to see it. We talked about this in that first episode. So this is a plunger.
Well, the exact name for this frame, this particular frame, it is a Santee frame.
Okay.
Was made back in the day, and if you go into the brochure, they call this a Softail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you go into the brochure, this was done by Santee, and obviously you can fit knuckles, pan, shovel, all that stuff. The way it's set up, and they came out, and back in, I think it was 70, I don't know, could be, and don't quote me on this, it could be even older, but they came up with this, and the brochure, if you look at it, it's called the Softail, and then you had like the aiming frame, and then you had what was the other one? Like, you know, they call it the plunger and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But their name, they named it the Softail.
Okay, that's very cool. How did it work out?
Man, this thing, you know, I and again, you know, building stuff, new stuff, different stuff. You hear mixed reviews of the guys. They're like, man, that thing is junk. Don't build that. You know, and I think that's the wrong thing to tell me. Don't build something. So they're like, the back end is wobbly and all that stuff. No way in hell, this thing rides like a dream. It really, really does. I love it. And again, it's a first for me with this frame.
Yeah. And
it worked out great.
You know, I think what happens sometimes, Kirt, is, and I just got back from a corporate event where we were riding ATVs, and there was a new ATV there that we were testing. And, you know, if we get too technical, if we get too into them, we tend to get, I think, a little bit critical, like, oh, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. And the average guy rides that ATV, and it's absolutely perfect. There's no reason not to sell that ATV. But we tend to think we're a little too aficionado, or you know, we know too much. And I think the same thing happens, and this is your art, just like it is for me. And you know, art is not about, is that back wheel gonna deflect us, you know, a 32nd of an inch? I don't care. As long as it doesn't rub on the inside of the fender, I don't care.
And it's safe and everything else, you're good to go. Exactly. And you know, for me, I've always compared the guys that were building stuff back in the day. The guys who were building the skyscrapers in New York without a harness or whatever, and they were building those things and building. Think about the technology in 1909 for a Harley-Davidson. It worked, didn't it?
Absolutely.
So that's what I said. Why try to invent everything else? Because sometimes we overthink too much stuff. And for me, if they were doing this stuff with limited tools, limited stuff, limited whatever, and those bikes were being ridden in the war, in the military, across Canada, across the United States, wherever they were shipped out, they were fine. So what are we trying to reinvent? Keep it basic, stupid.
Absolutely. I love that expression. Keep choppers sketchy. That's what they are, right?
Exactly. If you ride in a damn chopper and you tell me like you're not broken on the side of the road, or this is not falling off, or that, then I don't know, man. Like as I said, that's the memories, the beauty about everything. That's what choppers about. That's the definition of all that stuff, and that's what I love. I love it. You see my videos? I'm on the side of the road. Stuff, you know. That's okay.
That's okay. That's what it's all about.
It's okay.
Onto the seat. The frame worked out great. Everything fits here. I think the fender is fantastic. That suits it very nicely. The seat, this creative deal here, I love this. Got a little dirt on there. Who did the upholstery? Who designed the seat? You picked this up a long time ago.
I did. No, this seat is I built this from scratch.
What did you do with the one that you had?
I still got it downstairs.
Oh, okay.
I still got that downstairs. Oh yeah. Again, like I said, I got it. I switched over because I still got the seat that you saw from the get-go. So this pan, I started this pan building from scratch, and then I was like, okay, I want to do again something different. And when I was building this, a lot of times, which a lot of people, they fill this in. They fill it in, and then it looks. I was like, no, why would we fill this in? I was like, nah, just leave it open. That's a good look. Just leave it open. Leave that concept. And I took it down to my upholsterer guy, and again.
Do you remember his name?
No. I do actually. Sorry, Jamal. His name is Jamal. He has a little small shop, and again, he does upholstery for the house. And I met him, and he's like, you can bring your stuff down. So when I took this down, I said I wanted to leave this open. He's like, oh man, no, that's too much work. He's like, I can't do this. That's too much. And I said, why don't I leave it with you? I said, look, I know you like a challenge. You do different stuff. Think about this for a second.
Yeah.
And so he called me up about 2 days later. He's like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I said, that's all I'm asking. Just try your best. Went down there, and it was 2 days before I left for Sturgis. He was still working on it. And then he's like, I don't know what to do with this bottle, man. I said, no, you can do it. I said, look, let's put purple in here and do this. And
it's fantastic.
And he came up with it,
great.
And it's great. Here's the thing, Bruce. What you said. Choppers are sketchy. My bikes, it's not perfect. I ride them. Wherever I ride the shit out of them. That's what they're there for. And like I said, is it perfect? Well, as you said, there's always something to do on a bike. I might change it up next year. I might, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I built the bike to ride them. If it's, you know, it gets something to paint its chip or whatever, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying what I built, and I ride it. I ride it like I steal these bikes, because it's like, man, you go crazy. No, I'm not. This is what it's for. This is what it's for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the stitching and everything on here is beautiful. I just absolutely love what you did with this seat.
Thank you.
And Jamal,
yeah.
I am going to be coming to see you. Yeah, Kurt's turned me on to you now. But you were talking about riding and stuff, and when I went down to Bad Livin' Roadshow, the Bad Livin' Roadshow was north of Durham,
okay,
at the Frontier Ghost Town. Fantastic setting for for an event, just amazing. But we stayed in Hanover,
okay.
So I had a decent ride,
right,
half-hour ride over to Durham. Yeah. Those roads in Ontario, man, beautiful roads. Really? Smooth and hills, you know, dips and turns and trees. It's not the mountains. Yeah. It's not what we have here. Right. But it's different and it's good. And like I say, those 2-lane highways, couldn't believe how good they were. Really? I had so much fun on my bike. Okay. Well, maybe that's going to be on my bucket list next year. To get out there to that show. We might have to see if we can put something together. Okay, yeah. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Definitely. Good. I'd like to get out there. Good. Sissy Bar? Sissy Bar, chop and made. These are handrails. Made up. Bottom section, it's the original Sissy Bar. Top section, original Sissy Bar. Incorporated. Nice. This year, because I wanted to do something different. My guy, I wanted him to twist some stuff. He said, no, that's too complicated. It's going to cost too much money. So, again, most Sissy Bars are just straight. Yep. No, this is awesome. Yeah, and just kind of went with the flow. You know, what you said, you think about a bike from front to back. Yeah. It all has to flow. It all has to work. I would say you nailed it on this one, sir. Everything right down to the license plate frame. Thank you. Everything matches. There's a kind of an unspoken theme. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it works. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I love it. Guys. Kurt, you are an artist, man. You are something else. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you so much. That means a lot. And we'll be back. Coming from you, brother, it means a lot. I thank you. Really. And thank you, everybody, for watching. I don't know which camera I should be looking at. Say which one? Hey, we're wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Well, thank you, guys. And, you know, all you guys down in Texas, over in Detroit, this is your man. You got to hit the like button, maybe leave a comment. And for sure, subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out our new feature called Build Stuff. And remember, Build Stuff is not scheduled, so you need to hit the notifications so you get notified when there's new BS. There you go. Thanks, Bruce. Kurt. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. See you soon. Okay. Good job, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good job.